Hey, what's up everyone? Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids. Today we're looking at this, which is the new WOWTAC A4 V2. If you're not familiar with WOWTAC, they are, I think, what I'd call a subsidiary of Thrunite. On the box it says they're technically supported by Thrunite, so I think that means as far as the technology side of things, they work with Thrunite. These tend to be more budget friendly than Thrunite. I would say Thrunite is generally budget friendly, but these are even less expensive. So the A4 V2 is built to be a thrower. You can see that nice smooth reflector in there. It does have a very hot center. It doesn't have a lot of flood, especially when it's on the lower settings. But if you're looking for something to punch out into the night to really put some light out there, this could be something worth checking out. So here's everything that comes with it when you order the light. You're gonna get the generic WOWTAC box. It's brown. You also get the instruction manual, and then you get this little bag that comes with a lanyard, some extra O-rings, and an extra cover for the micro USB port. So speaking of the micro USB port, it's here on the back side. You can see that right there. When you're charging it, it's going to be red until it's fully charged. Then this section here, this little light, the switch will glow blue. If you're having a charging issue, it'll be purple or flashing purple. When I got mine, it was not fully charged. I probably charge it up in about an hour. So just to let you know, when it comes, it's probably not going to be fully charged. It does run off a 26650 battery, which has got 5,000 milliamp hours. So it's just got it's going to have longer output and give you some really good light. When you first look at it, you might be tempted to think it's the size of an 18650, but it is actually it's wider. I think it's a little bit shorter, but it's definitely got a bigger circumference as far as the actual battery. So what I'm gonna do right now is just roll in a bunch of footage from the nighttime when I was out using the light. So I tried it around my house, shining it into the woods and such, and then I went out into the woods, I drove down a dirt road and shined it off in the distance. You'll also see at one point I shine it into a field, and you can see these two little glowing dots. There were probably 4 or 5 deer out in the woods, and they were probably 300 yards off, but I was able to see them when I shined the light out there, at least pick up their eyes. With the human eye, I could see their form a little bit. It's a little bit harder to see on camera, but it punches out into the night quite nicely. It doesn't come with a holster, so this is not something that you're going to probably carry on a belt unless you get a separate holster. It's too big to EDC, but this is going to be a good light for you if you're looking for something to carry in a bag or keep at home, or maybe keep in your glove box, something like that. I do think that the light switch to actually turn it on is a little bit small. I'd like to see something beefier, and I'd like to see them use a different texture. That rubberized feeling is fine, but in the darkness, when you're feeling around with your hand, you feel this rubberized thing. You're like, oh, there it is, and no, that's actually the USB port. So you gotta hit that and then go, okay, swing it around to the other side, grab a hold of that, put your thumb on the button, and then turn it on. So I'd like to see that as a change. The texture is quite smooth, so I would put the lanyard on here if I were you. It's not like slippery, but it's smoother than some other lights. So I would just say be careful when you're holding it. So as is true for a lot of WOWTAC lights, this is going to be water resistant to 2 meters, so IPX8 rated, and drop resistant to 1.5 meters. Let me talk to you about the outputs now. We have Firefly setting, 0.5 lumens, that's going to run for 208 days. We have low, which is 28 lumens for 89 hours. Medium, 208 lumens for 12 hours. High, 1058 lumens for 8 minutes, and then it's going to drop down to run for 150 minutes. It doesn't say exactly what it's going to drop down to, but at that 1058 lumens, it's going to be hot, and then when it gets too hot, it's going to drop down to a lower level and run for 150 minutes. Once it cools down or you turn it off, you can go back up to that 1850 lumens. Your turbo is 1895 lumens. That's going to run for 3 minutes, and then it's going to drop down and run for 148 minutes. It doesn't say again what it drops down to, but just it's going to basically temperature regulate to come down to a lower level. Then we have strobe at 1200 lumens, and that's going to run for 200 minutes. So your price point for the light right now is just under $50. I've got a link down below in the description section if you want to go to Amazon and check it out and also purchase one. What I can tell you is that, when I took it out and I looked at the reflector, I'm like, okay, this guy's meant to be a thrower. It is definitely a thrower. If you're looking for something that's got a little bit more balance, I wouldn't go with this. If you're looking for something that's really gonna punch light out into the night, then this could be one that's that you should definitely check out. WOWTAC connected to Thrunite. Now, I'm a reviewer, so my experience with Thrunite, even though they haven't put out as many lights in recent days, Thrunite worked well with me when I had issues. As I've talked to other people, In general, my experience in talking to others who work with Thrunite is that Thrunite worked well with them, just as, you know, a person who purchased the light and then maybe had an issue or a question, that they worked well with them. So my assumption would be WOWTAC would be the same way, because WOWTAC and Thrunite are connected. So I think your customer service is going to be similar to what you're getting for Thrunite. So one thing just to note about a thrower like this is that you want to think about the size of the head across or the bezel across, and that's going to affect how big the spot is out there. So if you need a wider spot, you want to have a wider head or bezel on your flashlight. This one, for the purposes I was using it when I was out there, looking for animals and stuff, it worked great. I didn't have any issues. If you need something that's going to have a wider spot, you're going to need something that's wider across the front. So just a heads up on that. So far though, it's worked great. I mean, I went out last night and tested it for quite a bit, and it does get hot after a while, but never to the point where I had to put it down. And when I was using it, I never saw a drop. Like, I was using it long enough that, I didn't see it like suddenly start fading way down, and I was like, okay, the light is really weak. It worked really well for me the entire time I was checking it out. So who's this for? Definitely if you're looking for a thrower, definitely if you want to save some money. $50 right around there, I think is a good price to get almost 2,000 lumens, and around 1,000 lumens at that higher, the high setting. If you need something that's going to run at 1,500 lumens for 45 minutes, then this is not going to do it. This is not built to withstand that type of use. But I think for a person who wants to get out there and use a light to spot stuff at night, needs to throw, this could be something worth checking out. All right, so if you used a WOWTAC flashlight, any of them, or in particular if you have the A4 V2, let's hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. When I think about this, I'm thinking about like comparing it to, it's not the exact same thing, but size-wise similar to like the Olight Seeker or Seeker Pro, and it's just less expensive. It's more of a budget-friendly version. You don't have the charging dock and all those things. For me, micro USB works fine. It's nice to have a charging dock, but that's not a make or break thing for me. So yeah, definitely a budget-friendly thrower available for you guys. Again, links down below if you want to head over to Amazon to check this out or to purchase. And yeah, let's hear your thoughts and your feedback based on what you've seen in this video, and if you have owned an A4 V2 or other WOWTAC flashlights. All right, guys, thanks as always for checking out the videos here on YouTube. Please subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids if you haven't done so already. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check us out on Instagram, Tumblr, and Vero as well. More videos coming soon. Take care.